deeply feel that energy in this room. So our June theme is spiritual guidance and how to follow it. And our topic for today is a spiritual chain reaction. Now, when I think about chain reactions, I remember being in high school chemistry class. And there were some kind of smart alecky guys that were always trying to make some interesting chain reactions when the teacher wasn't thinking, or wasn't watching, maybe not thinking either. And when I Googled high school chemistry experiments gone wrong, I found a number of pictures of this guy that you see on the screen who obviously has some pretty bad burns. And he was doing some chemical chain reactions with methanol. Yeah, methane, good old methane. So a chain reaction is when an action or a reaction then causes more. I mean, it starts it and it causes another action and another reaction and another reaction and another reaction. It can start with something microscopic, and it can be as easy and as simple as the dominoes that we see. Okay. The dominoes that we see right there. Yeah, right. Or it can be on a level of the atomic bomb, nuclear weapons that are in our world today. So whatever happens, chain reactions have far-reaching and powerful effects, or can have, definitely. And there are human chain reactions as well. Now, you've probably all heard the teaching example of the grouchy boss that gets up late in the morning and has bad traffic, and so he gets to work and he's all grouchy and he's yelling at his salesman all day long, and then his salesman goes home and is rude to his wife, and she yells at the kids, and one of the kids kicks the dog in frustration. Chain reaction. So there are all kinds of chain reactions, and I don't think we want to be starting chain reactions like that. But there's some wonderful chain reactions happening in our world as well. Think about the chain reaction of kindness and how that can just ripple out and ripple out and ripple out. One such story comes from Gus's world-famous fried chicken in Memphis. Amber Moffat has been serving at Gus's world-famous fried chicken for 8.5 years, but one evening something out of the ordinary happened. 2 Memphis police officers came in for dinner, and then there was a mystery diner who paid their tab. And then the police officers paid the tab for another table, and that table paid the tab for another table. And it went on until the people who were working at the restaurant could just hardly believe it. Moffat says, "It was just an amazing night for us. It just set the mood for us for the rest of the night. We were so overwhelmed with how awesome it was." And then, of course, somebody put it on Facebook, and within minutes, there were 1,000 likes and comments. People are just always so glad to hear about these wonderful acts and chains of kindness. And then it got even better when Gus's world-famous fried chicken decided to pledge $250 to a charity of choice for the Memphis Police Department. The article ended by saying, "One random act of kindness spawned several others, perhaps leaving a taste in your mouth almost as good as fried chicken." There's one source of life, and we are all part of it. We are the individual cells that make up humanity. And as the individual cells that make up humanity, we affect others with our thoughts, with our wishes, with our intentions, with our actions, certainly. It is a powerful, powerful thing that we're able to do. who we are and what we say and how we choose to live our lives makes a difference. Of course, it makes a difference for our own lives, and it also makes a difference for those around us and for the world we live in. Isabel from the boardofwisdom.com said, a positive attitude causes a chain reaction of positive thoughts, events, and outcomes. It is a spark that creates extraordinary results. You are powerful beyond measure. Do you know that? You are powerful beyond measure. And we get to choose the kind of chain reactions that we are going to start. We can choose what will go forth from us. It's like a tiny spark can start a forest fire. And the thoughts that we put out into the world can make a difference as well. Ernest Holmes said, did you ever notice the contagion of a happy person? One who has an enthusiastic joy in living? There's some of those in this room, and I love it. Their spirit permeates those around them, and the contagion of their personality influences their environment to such an extent that it finally changes it. Have you noticed that when you smile at somebody, they usually smile back? And that when somebody smiles at you, it makes it easier for you to smile at other people that you see during the day, easier to pass it on. What if we remembered that those are some of the ways that we can start a spiritual chain reaction by sharing that? Dr. Abraham Jaffe wrote this, sharing the joy in your heart through kindness to others is the equivalent of sending a thank you card to God. Don't you love that? A thank you card to God. You may never know how your simple acts of kindness, a friendly smile and greeting, carrying someone's groceries, offering a few quarters to an exasperated driver at a parking meter, touches others' hearts or restores their faith in humanity. It is not the act of kindness itself that touches people. It's the caring, the love, the compassion that accompanies it. He goes on to say, your kind gestures may inspire others to act in kind and perhaps set off a chain reaction of good that will karmically circle back to you. And Mother Teresa, now Saint Teresa, said, let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, in your smile, kindness in your warm greeting. So imagine good rippling out from you. Imagine what kind of good you would want to share with the world. Got it? What flavor of good do you want to share? So imagine whatever flavor of good it is, joy, abundance, love, family harmony, whatever it is, imagine that just rippling out from you, touching everyone in this room. Imagine that there's a limitless source of good in you. A limitless, never-ending source of good within you. And imagine that all of the beings that have been blessed by your good, all of your family, your coworkers, the people that you run into in the grocery store, imagine that they have been blessed by your good, and then that it ripples out from them to everyone they meet, everyone they know. And then it ripples out from them. Energy is real, my beloveds. Our thoughts, our intentions, our actions, we make a difference. You make a difference in this world. with our thoughts and words and actions, we start the kind of chain reactions, the kind of energy that'll go out and affect others and then keep rippling out. Now, this works for positive thoughts. And guess what? It also works for those not so positive thoughts and fears and conflicts that we sometimes dwell on. Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes I dwell on these things. Now, unless you've spent the week at an ashram deep in meditation, you have probably been aware of the issue of children being separated from their parents, from their families at our border. And whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, the energy around your thoughts starts a chain reaction that affects those around you and that affects what's going on in the world. Now, I am absolutely not suggesting that you don't react or respond powerfully when something happens that you feel deeply about. But as conscious creators, we get to choose what kind of energy we are going to share out there in the world. Now, I have some very personal experience with children being separated from families. When I was 7 years old, my sister and I were put in a children's home where we lived for 2.5 years. Now, it was explained to me why it was necessary, and I even knew that I was going to get to see my mother on occasional weekends. But let me tell you, that was hard to be not around you, even though all of the people that I was around spoke the same language I did. They ate the same kinds of foods, and so I was pretty lucky. But there were other kids there, because there were like 80 of us in this home, and some of them didn't know where their parents were. Some of them didn't know when they would see them again. And it was hard to watch my friends go through that, and of course it was hard for me to go through that. So I had that experience. And then fast forward 20 years, and my then husband and I adopted 2 daughters, and they were almost 4 years old and 6 years old when we adopted them. Now, we were so excited about it, and of course the girls got a new bedroom with, fancy sheets and all of that stuff, and new clothes and new toys. And they had also just been taken from a foster home where my youngest had been for 3 years. At that time, foster parents were not allowed to adopt their foster children. And this was the olden days, obviously. And so they were taken from this home. And of course, we were loving them and wanting them. But they were also ripped from the family that they had known. And, it just wasn't quite the Hallmark movie kind of experience that I had anticipated for them. Very, very, very difficult. So I've been thinking a lot about these migrant kids and what they're experiencing. Now, at first I felt absolute outrage that our country would do such a thing, and fear and heartbreak for the kids and the parents and the border agents that had to do that. And, okay, I ranted and raved some. I did. But then I started to remember and realize that was not the energy I wanted to be putting out into the situation. That my being upset wasn't going to make a difference for them. Now, of course, I have contacted my senators and my representative and let them know, and I encourage all of you to do that wherever you stand on any issues. We need to speak up. We, the people, need to speak up. Whatever it is we believe in. And I I've done what I feel like I've been called to do. And I ask Spirit, okay, is there anything I'm supposed to be doing here? And I am doing it and will continue to do it. And being in that place of conflict and being in that place of being against something is not the kind of energy I want to put out there. I don't think it's helpful for the kids. I don't think it's helpful for our leaders. I don't think it's helpful for anyone. In the Science of Mind and Spirit, we teach that we create our reality. Now, we do that on an individual level as our thoughts outpicture as our lives. And on a national and world level, we have created a massive amount of conflict and dissension. But if we focus on that all the time, I don't think it's going to change. If we want to change what we're seeing, we need to change the way we see, the way we look. So I want to be part of a spiritual chain reaction. How about you? Yeah. I want to be and share love and peace. Now, not complacency. Not complacency. But I want to share love and peace, and I want to have that be what ripples out from me and affects all of you here and affects all of the people that you run into and supports the positive growth, the positive outcome. Because we believe in a power that's within us and around us and for us, and a power that has created us. Now, this is the power that can absolutely do anything. It can make a difference in the outcomes as we decide as a people that we're going to move forward in peace and love. So what kind of chain reactions are you creating with your thoughts? If it's not the kind of energy, if you're not putting out the kind of energy that you would like to see multiplied in the world, you may want to think about changing the way you look at things. Now, it's not always easy. Well, for me, it's not always easy. Maybe for some people it is. But we get to focus where we want to focus. Now, I've been talking about this, what to me has been a big issue this week. But this power of our thought isn't just for the big world issues. It's for anything in your life. Because we live in a world, we live in a spiritual universe that has laws. What we think about, we get more of. If we want to think about conflict, go for it. It's here. If we want to think about peace, even just the feeling it within ourselves makes a difference, because that ripples out to all of the people. And we can use this for anything in our lives. We can use it for physical healing, because we live in a universe that supports physical, mental, emotional healing. There's something within us, this power within us, that knows how to heal a cut, to heal a broken bone, to heal, when we get the flu, to heal cancer, to heal a broken heart, to heal a nation that has been separate. This is possible, my friends. And we can call on that power. We can call on it in our finances, in our relationships, in our work, in what's happening in our world, in our creative expression. It's here for us to use. So you may be surprised by the power of consciously spending time each day cultivating the kind of energy that you want to share in the world, with your family, with your coworkers, with your children, with your community. And even if you don't know how powerful it is to focus on that, that is your homework. Your homework, should you decide to accept it, is to do exactly that. It's to consciously decide, consciously choose, consciously look at what it is that you want to share. What kind of energy, if your energy was multiplied by 1,000,000 times and we all lived in that world, what energy do you want to create? What world do you want to create? Imagine yourself being filled with that energy. You're a broadcasting station. There's no limit to the amount of good that you can broadcast. No limit to the amount of good that you can process. So that's your homework. And then the next day, your homework is to do it again. To once again choose your energy consciously. Put out there what you want to get back, what you want your children and grandchildren and loved ones to experience. We're here as conscious beings. We're here to start a spiritual chain reaction that brings more of the love and the joy and the peace into this world that is so hungry for it. I want to close with a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Have we not come to such an impasse in the modern world that we must love our enemies, or else? The chain reaction of evil, hate begetting hate, wars producing more wars, must be broken, or else we shall be plunged into the dark abyss of annihilation. So a question. Are you ready to start a chain reaction for positive, for good, right here and right now and going forward? Yes. Yes. I am so blessed to be in a place that is filled with people who are committed to that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now as practitioners stand with me in high consciousness, let's move into prayer.